Hi everyone, hope you're all doing well, and today we're going to take a look at Rolls-Royce stock and do a little bit of an update on this one. It wasn't actually a video that I was planning to do or was going to do at all, but I noticed quite a bit on the comment section, a lot of you guys asking me to just kind of update you on Rolls-Royce and my kind of thoughts on the current situation. Obviously, as someone that's not invested in the company, it's always hard because I don't know, some of you guys that probably were asking me this as shareholders, and you guys probably have a lot more knowledge than what I do, so always take that into consideration, that you guys are probably keeping up to date on a lot of news articles, like know the company in and out. For me, as an outsider that don't own shares, I probably don't have as good knowledge as some of you guys, so just take that as well into a little bit of consideration, that some of you guys probably have a better knowledge of the company than me. But I'll try my best to kind of give my opinion on the current situation with Rolls-Royce. So I hope you enjoy it, for you guys that did ask for this video, and as always, if you could smash the like button. The last time we talked about Rolls-Royce, which was about 2-3 months ago, maybe probably a bit longer than that, the video actually did really well, so yeah, if we can do that again, that'll be super, and I'll take a look into Rolls-Royce. So we're just going to look at the stock chart to start with. I'm just going to say though, sometimes when I talk about some stocks like this, if you don't agree with my kind of opinion, that's totally fine, but it's just kind of my opinion really. If someone can post like a positive case for it, that's fine. Like I say, I only really invest into companies that I'm 100% sure on. So if I do talk negatively about a stock that you own, don't take it too personal. I'm just trying to give my opinion on the situation. But yeah, Rolls-Royce. So actually recording this video, it is having a very good day. It's up 10%. But the stock is down at 136. Like I said, I think I last talked about this in about June time. So somewhere in the 300 range, I think. So the stock is down about 50-60% since I last talked about it. And when I did talk about the company last time at them sort of prices, I did say it was a sell or an avoid. I wasn't a fan of the company at them sort of prices. And like I say, it has gone down quite a bit since then. So yeah, it's been a bit of another bumpy ride since then. I know there's been a lot of information about, job cuts. I know they've had to put a lot of information out about, raising cash. I think they've done it through multiple ways, through, raising through shareholders, bond offerings and stuff like that. I think like Rolls-Royce has pretty much tapped everywhere it can to get some money here. So yeah, obviously it's not a great thing for Rolls-Royce, but I know some of you guys are kind of looking at this company now and thinking, yeah, it's obviously sold off. There is a lot of problems here, but Rolls-Royce is going to make it through this situation. So at these sort of prices, if I invest for 2 to 5 years, is that going to be a good investment? And I think that's where a lot of you guys are kind of coming from that are invested into this one or are considering buying this one. Now I'm just going to say, first off, one thing that did make me nervous on kind of the Rolls-Royce front was, and like I said, I'm not going to go too much into detail into the company because I did it on the last video, so if you want a bit more of a deep dive into the company, then watch the last time I talked about Rolls-Royce about 3 months ago. But just to cover some basic points, I wasn't a fan with Rolls-Royce because previously, pre-COVID, they weren't an amazing company. They were in and out of profitability. If I'm buying a company that's down a lot and is affected by COVID, I want to make sure there was a strong company pre-COVID, which Rolls-Royce wasn't really. It was kind of, not making money. Revenue was kind of here, there and everywhere and not really growing, which didn't really make me a fan. And also the balance sheet wise, it wasn't a strong balance sheet going into COVID. And obviously in this COVID situation, I want to be buying companies with really strong balance sheets to get through any of these situations. And obviously Rolls-Royce balance sheet wasn't obviously the best situation there. I am going to say though, fair play to some of the shareholders. When you look at the shareholder front, there has been a few shareholders buying, but in general, not absolutely huge amounts. You look, 5k, 6k, 8k, 14k. So the shareholders are buying, but like I said, they're not exactly going completely in there. So yeah, I mean, it's not bad on the share insider buying. It's not selling, but at the same time, they're not exactly buying huge amounts on the inside. So I thought the best thing to do was actually go through the August press release for the half the year results. I think that will kind of give us a bit more of an up-to-date situation. I'll be honest, I did not read it all, but I did try and pick out the key things that I would want to know about this company. So just on the revenue front, you can see that it wasn't actually too bad. Obviously, it still lost money with what's going on, and the debt did increase on the company. But you know, it wasn't a terrible revenue side of it. It's just losing a lot more money. That was one of the big standout things with it. And when we actually go to a lot of the key kind of incomes for Rolls-Royce, we look at the civil aerospace. That was obviously the one that took a big hit. You know, you can see here that it went from making profit in the first half of 2019, 276 million, to then losing 1.5 billion. So we can see that obviously this is where it's been hit loads. Obviously this company is going to be really affected until aerospace kind of gets back to normal, and that's kind of one of the reasons why I don't buy into this company, is because I've got enough coverage in this area myself. I've got Dark Group, I've got kind of WH Smiths, so I'm kind of already in this here with another company. So obviously they need aerospace to come back to normal, which it should do at some point. Don't get me wrong, I think in 2 years' time we'll be kind of where we were at. So that will come back. It's just so it is a bit of a big sting when you look into how that did do. Power systems did get okay. The revenue or the profit did shrink slightly, but still it did make a profit. We look at the defence, which is one of the big things that I know shareholders in Rolls-Royce are keen on. And once again, the profit grew on that one, which was fantastic. And I think this is this could be one of the big help for Rolls-Royce out there, is if it can carry on doing this gross profit and carry on growing it. So that was a positive in the defence side. The ITP sector as well, and once again pulling out profit, but that did shrink quite a bit. But still, a little bit of profit there. Obviously, the only problem is with all these sectors, it wasn't enough profit to cover the big massive loss on the aero side of it. That was the big problem. And you can see here that when you look at the start of the bottom of it, you can start seeing how much they actually did lose for that first half. 5.3 billion is a lot, and when you start looking at what was left on the cash side of it, because of everything that they did kind of try and raise, you can see cash equivalents at 30th of June was 4.2 billion. So if it does have another quarter like this where it loses that much money and it's got that much cash, the company is going to be in big trouble in 6 months' time. And obviously it will need to raise a lot of money just to get through kind of like the next couple of months, really. And same while the aerospace is kind of killed off, and if it carries on burning through that much cash, it's going to need to raise a lot of cash going forward. So yeah, it's a very, very tricky place for what Rolls-Royce are in now, because when you look at the cash pile and how much they're burning through, there's going to be a lot of cash needed to raise to get to the point where it's back at break even, which is definitely a little bit ugly. Now, I know a lot of people say that this company will not go bankrupt because of the government support, and there's part of me that does agree. The government will try and help this company get through it, because of what industry it is in and how important it is to the UK economy. But at the same time, I think there will be a point where the government will step away and go, that's enough. I think it could happen. So we'll see what happens with that whole situation. Like I say, the balance sheet is getting very ugly on this company. It does need a lot of cash, but I can see why people, at these sort of prices, think in 5 years' time, you look, quite a lot of the companies, what sectors it is in, are still doing okay. They're still sneaking a profit. Obviously, the big thing is it needs airplane travel to get back to normal. That is what it needs, and unfortunately, I think that's still probably a little bit away before it gets to that break-even point. So I can see where people are coming at. At the same time, for me, when I weigh up what's going on in Rolls-Royce and how much cash they have, the extra debt they need to pay off, how the company's done previously in pre-COVID, I'm still not a huge fan of the company. I do like it a bit better than when I talked about it kind of 3-4 months ago. At that sort of point, I did think I was like totally like, just don't touch it. Like, I'd be close. If I was forced to either buy it or short it, I would short the company. And now at this sort of point, I'm still not a huge fan of it, and I still wouldn't recommend it a buy, but it is getting a little bit better. It's getting closer to the end. I still think you can afford, if you do want to buy this company, I still think you can afford to wait another kind of couple of months before buying it. And even if the company spikes a little bit from here, at least you're not taking on that risk of how bad that balance sheet's getting, and the debt levels as well. I think you can afford to see a little bit of a recovery and then buy it. So I wouldn't potentially rush into it, even if you're a massive fan, and maybe hold off slightly. But I can see why people are wanting to buy this one. But personally for me, I have to be 100% buying into this one, and even if I called it a spec play, I still won't want to buy into the company at the moment. So yeah, it's a bit of a risk one. Also as well, a bit of a conflict of interest. I hold shares in Dark Group as well, which is it is kind of similar with what Rolls-Royce needs to happen and what Dark Group needs to happen to get back to normal. And like I say, I'd rather be investing in Dark Group right now. So from my portfolio, it doesn't suit it, and in general, I'm not a massive fan right now of Rolls-Royce. But like I say, it is getting a bit better as time goes on. But I would still, if I was on the outside, I'd still wait a little bit yet to see how it goes on, because it's still going to have a lot of cash that it's going to have to raise over the next kind of few months if it carries on with these sort of losses anyway. So I hope you enjoyed that mini update, guys, on Rolls-Royce. And as always, if you can smash the like button, that would be absolutely amazing. If you are new around here, please subscribe. That would be super cool as well. And I'll see you in the next video.